Hey everybody, it's Sunday, April 20th, 2014. Hope you're having a great day. And boy, I've had one hell of a week here in Vietnam. So for the past 2 weeks, I've had about 150 wallets from ballaleather.com that have been sitting here in customs. And so it turns out when you import and export products, there are certain taxes and duties that you have to pay. So in a country like Vietnam, where manufacturing is a big part of the economy, certain things like textiles, leather goods, clothing, bags, the country tries really hard to keep these things out from being made overseas and being brought into the local market. So in my shipment of the wallets, my supplier actually wrote that on the invoice that they were about $1 each in value. And normally this isn't an issue when we're sending it to the US or UK, but with certain countries like Vietnam, Southeast Asia, some developing countries, it gets a little bit tricky. And so the customs officers actually disagreed with our valuation, and so they opened up a couple of my wallets. I believe they probably Googled my website. They said it's actually worth $50 per wallet. And so on the VAT side and the tax, they actually charge 25% for textiles, leather goods, and then another 15% for value-added tax. So basically, they try to hit me with $25 tax per wallet times 150 items. So they try to make me pay $3,000 just to import 150 wallets. And I was like, no, screw you. Hell no, I'm not going to pay this. So I told them to send it back to my supplier. I'm not going to pay this tax. And then that's kind of funny. 2 days ago, they're just like, yeah, all right, it's cool. Just pay us $100 and we'll let you come pick it up. So, but yeah, there you have it. Lesson learned in the import-export business. So that's kind of what's up with me. With that being said, let's just get into this episode about Amazon pay-per-click. Don't deliver a product, deliver an experience. You're listening to the Build My Online Store podcast, and I'm your host, Terry Lin. We're here to talk about running an online store and building a strong e-commerce brand to take your online store to the next level. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to check us out at buildmyonlinestore.com. Let's get on with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Today I got my buddy Michael Erickson here, where we're going to talk about Amazon PPC. What's going on, man?
Hey, Terry. Everything's going very well. I'm excited to talk a little bit about something not a lot of entrepreneurs, e-commerce store owners know a lot about, which is Amazon product ads, or Amazon PPC.
Nice. All right, so let's get started then. So Amazon PPC is separate from Google AdWords, and it's something that's come on my radar kind of like the past year or two. And so I never wrapped my head around it, so that's what we're going to do today. So I guess, well, starting out, who are you and what do you do?
Exactly. So as you said, I'm Michael Erickson, and I'm the CEO and head optimizer at searchscientists.com. So what we do is we help businesses achieve more online, whether they're an e-commerce store and they're looking to sell more products, or they're doing lead generation and they're looking for more leads. We'll do AdWords PPC for them, Facebook ads, Amazon ads, which we're going to talk about today, Bing ads. Basically anywhere where you can pay to get traffic, we're there.
All right, so let's focus on Amazon a little bit. So on a very high level, AdWords has been kind of the bread and butter of paid ads the past couple of years, maybe even the past decade. So, how has Amazon come to the market, and where do you see them right now? When, say, you get a client, how do you convince them to get on Amazon, or just even to understand the difference between AdWords?
Everyone is on AdWords, and AdWords is a fantastic place to be. There's a great source of traffic. It's the number one search engine. So it still makes sense to start on AdWords for a lot of businesses. Just recently, I came into a situation with a particular client, and we were optimizing their AdWords account, their Bing ads account, their retargeting accounts. Everything was going terrific. And we started to sort of hit, maximum impression share, meaning we were getting all the impressions that were available to us. So their products, when people searched for their products, we were showing up a really high percentage of the time, close to 100%. So, continued optimization, better click-through rates there, better margins there. So we're optimizing AdWords, and I'm always looking to learn something new. So, me and the business owner, we were communicating, what else can we do to help bring in additional revenue? So AdWords is still their number one source of revenue, but we've added thousands of more dollars a month by using something called Amazon product ads. And just like you said, it's different than traditional selling on Amazon. Okay, so the main one that everyone knows is, selling on Amazon, fulfillment by Amazon, Seller Central, anything like that. That's where the purchase happens on Amazon. This is something completely separate to that. This is Amazon pay-per-click. So essentially what this is, we're going to take out a listing on Amazon. It's going to look just like an Amazon listing, except when the person goes to purchase, they're going to be taken over to your URL, your business website, and the purchase is going to happen on your business website. And instead of paying per sale, 10 to 50%, we're only going to pay cost per click. So it's a fantastic way to take advantage of, Amazon's, high converting users who are in purchase mode without giving a percentage of each sale to Amazon.
So why is Amazon letting people pay money to drive them off their website? Because intuitively, Amazon will want people to stay on their site and buy there, right?
This was a really interesting point. Amazon, Google, and eBay, they're either proactive, they're either thinking of something new, or they're reacting to one another. Amazon PPC started in 2008, a sort of a reactive move. So Google just started coming out with their product ads, and Amazon wanted to respond by incorporating their own comparison shopping element to their offering. So essentially now you can go to Amazon.com, see product ads, and sort of do some price comparison shopping and then click off of Amazon onto their site. So it's sort of their way of taking advantage. You're absolutely right. Sure, for Amazon, it's pennies on the dollar, but they're playing a huge volume game. Amazon PPC was definitely met with a lot of mixed reviews. People were saying that Amazon was perfect. Now we're sending people off the site. A lot of people said, it's great for consumers, because they get more, comparison, so they can get the best product at the best price from the most trusted retailer. My verdict has definitely been it's great for stores to, take advantage of the Amazon traffic, dipping their toe in the water, and, without that 10 to 15% that a lot of e-commerce store business owners try to avoid.
I see. Because I guess if they don't have the product, the consumer is going to go elsewhere to find it on a site, so you might as well make the money off the click, I guess, in some ways.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
I see. All right. And so how does Amazon fit into the sales funnel in terms of your experience? Like, is it a very top level thing, or are consumers ready to buy and then they go on Amazon and it's really high converting at the end of the sale?
For a lot of people, they go to Amazon first. For some people, they go to Google.com and they'll type in the name of their product, and they'll look through product listing ads, and they'll click on the search results and find their product that way. And a lot of other people start on Amazon.com. They need to buy something, they go straight to Amazon.com. So if you're only advertising on Google, it might be likely that you're missing out on a lot of people that are going straight to Amazon. So in one element, it can be top of the marketing funnel. On the other hand, people could be starting on Google and then going over to Amazon for some comparison shopping.
Mm-hmm. I see. And so budget-wise, I guess CPC-wise, how does it compare with AdWords right now on a relative basis?
So what I've found so far, and I have about 10 clients on Amazon, all of them are seeing similar trends. Our cost per clicks are going to be cheaper on Amazon with higher conversion rates. So part of the reason why I've deduced on why the cost per clicks are going to be lower is simply because there's less competition. So, we know the competition on AdWords. We know that they just started charging for their PLAs, about 2 years ago. And Amazon PPC isn't something that a lot of retailers know about. It's not something that a lot of retailers might understand. So the cost per clicks are going to be a little bit lower.
And on an average basis across the board, would you say it's like twice as cheaper, or do you have like a feel for this?
Yeah, so Amazon actually greets you. So when you open up your Amazon product ads or Amazon PPC account, they'll greet you with some minimum bids. And when you look at those minimum bids, your eyes will widen and you'll say, wow, these clicks look so cheap. Their minimum bids across the board, and they have recommended bids per category, their minimum bids start somewhere around 25 cents and they go up to, about 90 cents as a minimum. What I found was because the competition is so low, you can get away with bidding low, so 75 cents, 50 cents. And what I found for a lot of my clients is that the conversion rates are so high because people are really in that buy mode. If you've only been on Google AdWords, I think you'll be impressed with the conversion rates over on Amazon.
Yeah, so say I bid for like a Bluetooth speaker CPC ad on Amazon, right? But say another merchant on Amazon is selling the same speaker. Like, would I still be able to bid for that because Amazon's selling it anyways, or would they still send someone off to my site since I have the CPC bid?
Okay, so there's been some debate over this. One of my clients actually is an Amazon seller. They have their own website. And for their Amazon seller account, so this is where the conversion happens on Amazon.com, they're doing sponsored ads. They're also doing Amazon PPC. And what they found is that, all things being equal, the bid for Amazon seller ads and the bid for Amazon PPC, where people go off-site, Amazon looks to prefer keeping people on site. That said, we're exploring things where we really exaggerate our bids on Amazon PPC and lower our bids on on Seller Central, and seeing if Amazon will then favor the higher bid. But from what we've seen so far, Amazon does sort of prefer its internal ads over sort of the external ads, sending people offsite. That said, it's definitely something to all things with PPC. It's something to explore. Look at what kind of metrics you're getting and tweak your bids. I found, most of the time, the cost per clicks are going to be low enough that it warrants us, maybe 2xing or 3xing that minimum bid that Amazon recommends.
And so, how about like the volume difference? Like, because I think most people search on Google for things. Like, what does the convergence rate look like on Amazon across the board? Like, say AdWords from your client base.
Exactly. So I looked at my client metrics for this, and it looks like we generate about 50 to 70% of what AdWords provides in revenue. So if there's an e-commerce store and we're generating $10,000 a month on Amazon product ads, we're going to be generating anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 a month from Amazon product ads. And it's interesting to note, you're going to be generating that with much, much less traffic. We looked at some of our client metrics. They were getting, somewhere, let's say 5,000 clicks from Google AdWords and generating only something like 500 clicks from Amazon, still with those consistent, generating 50% of the revenue that AdWords typically provides.
And just to give everyone a perspective, in terms of like business size, how big are your clients usually? Are they like in $1 million range, bigger than that, or what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so the clients that we've gotten on Amazon PPC, they're generating anywhere from $10,000 a month from their AdWords to $100,000 a month from their AdWords. So in terms of return on ad spend, so what are we spending on AdWords and what are we getting back? On AdWords, I almost consider it a pulse, a sign of life. If you're getting about 200% return on ad spend for your AdWords campaigns, and essentially what that means is, return on ad spend is a metric that a lot of PPC marketers use to, determine how effective an online marketing campaign is, and it's the exact same equation as ROI. So it's your revenue minus your costs over your costs and then times 100 to give you that percentage. So 200% is typically a sign of life, I think, on AdWords. And on Amazon, because the clicks are cheaper, because the conversion rates are higher, if we're seeing something like 300% return on ad spend on AdWords, we can see things like 3,000% return on ad spend on Amazon. Now, before we go nuts and say, wow, 3,000%, like we should be putting all of our money on Amazon, there is a volume cap. So, you're not going to get nearly the same amount of traffic as you are on Amazon PPC as you are on AdWords. So it's really a nice way to supplement what you're already doing on PPC. It's a great way to supplement, your AdWords campaigns by including another source of profitable traffic.
I see. So say I have $10,000 to spend a month on paid ads. Even if I throw it all on Amazon, I'm still leaving a lot on the table by not being on AdWords because the platform is just so much more robust.
Exactly. So AdWords will still be your number one source of revenue. I haven't seen Amazon product ads outpace AdWords. So AdWords is still going to be your big behemoth of PPC. You're going to spend 75% of your time there, and Amazon product ads, Amazon PPC, will account for probably 10-15% of your time and account for be about 50%, 70% of what AdWords brings in.
All right, so Amazon sounds great, but is this someone like a solopreneur can get set up with? Like, do you need a professional to do it, or is it pretty bootstrappable for someone on their own?
So Amazon, I think, just started doing something within the past few months. They started to offer free feed setups. So this is really, really helpful because one of the biggest barriers to entry to getting on Amazon PPC is setting up your product feed. Now, there are occasions where people use the exact same feed that they use from Google product ads, and they just upload that into Amazon product ads. And I found that doesn't work nearly as effective as having a perfect feed for Amazon. So essentially what I'm talking about here is, a product feed helps the shopping engine understand what your products are, and it looks at things like your SKU, your title, your description, the keywords you want to attach, the image, links, and all of those good things. Google has their own. Amazon has their own as well. So getting your feed ready for Amazon product ads can be a bit of a challenge, and it can require some legwork to figure out. Amazon is actually, from my clients that have been working with them, they've actually sent them an email after they set up their accounts that say, hey, would you like us to set your feed up so you can get up and running nice and fast? And I've been recommending my clients to take advantage of that, and the feeds look good. So I definitely take advantage of that.
And they want to get people right on board without any friction as fast as possible too.
Exactly. Yeah, they're really eager to get people up and running on Amazon product ads. So if you've been only on AdWords, you've probably been met with some frustration. How do I set up a feed? Google doesn't give you a lot of that hand holding. Here's how to get set up for a lot of smaller businesses. I've heard that AdWords does help really, really large businesses get on Google Shopping, but in terms of the everyday business owner, they're not going to give you much support. With Amazon, I found it's much, much different. As soon as you sign up with an Amazon product ads account, all of my clients get an email from a dedicated rep. They say, hey, I'm here to help. You have any questions, let me know. Can I set up a feed for you? They also give you a feed template to help you get started, nice and easy as well.
I see. And I assume once you get on the CPC platform, when someone clicks on an ad, you're sending them to a product page, right? Not like a category page or anything.
Exactly. So the mechanics are going to be just like on AdWords product listing ads. So the person clicks on it and they go straight to the product ad. Same thing on Amazon. They click on it, they click buy, and they get taken over to that product page on your website. Amazon has a lot of trust. So when people see, people might see your website for the very, very first time coming from AdWords, and they might say, well, who are these people? Do I need to do more research on them? Coming from Amazon, they might say, oh, these guys might have, they're connected with Amazon in some way. These guys, higher conversion rates are typically come from that.
Yeah. So when you're getting started on Amazon, like you look at like PLA, AdWords, as like the keyword planner, you can kind of figure out where to start, some ad groups. Like, how do you start on Amazon then? Like, where do you find your keywords, and how do you even decide which ones to use?
So assuming that we're already on AdWords, I would say take your top performers and get them over on Amazon product ads. So this really lowers the barrier to entry. So if you have, 500 products, you don't have to set up a feed for 500 products. You can start with your best, 20. Get those on Amazon product ads and see how that works. And what's really different between Amazon product ads and Google product ads is that Google product ads have no keyword entry, meaning Google automatically looks at your UPC, your manufacturer part number, your titles, your descriptions, and will automatically assign keywords that your ads will appear for. With Amazon product ads, there's actually columns in the data feed that ask you to include your own keywords. So for typical keyword research, you're going to want to look at your Google Analytics, your current AdWords, and find the keywords that are best converting for you, and insert those into your feed on Amazon. That's a great place to start with your keywords and product selection on Amazon PPC.
Mm-hmm. And so for someone starting out completely new with like a new store, would you advise them go on Amazon PPC too, or?
Yeah, so this is really interesting, and this question was always for me, start on AdWords. But recently I've met a few smaller businesses, they have their Shopify store, they're not necessarily generating any revenue yet. Part of me says, let's start on Amazon PPC first. And the reason, for all the reasons that I said, the costs are going to be a little bit cheaper. The conversion rate, it will tell us more because the conversion rate is going to be higher, so we're going to be able to get revenue faster. And for a new business just starting out, my goal has always been for them, get to profitability as fast as possible with these campaigns. With AdWords, competition is going to be higher. The traffic, of course, is there, but because the traffic's there, the competition is going to be higher. So part of me, for the right kind of client, I would say that Amazon PPC might actually be a better decision than Google AdWords when you're just starting out.
Yeah, and I think because if people are in the buying mode on Amazon rather than on Google, when you tap into that, like the data you'll get and the kind of the traction you'll get, that makes a lot more sense than to just figure out AdWords in like a month or two, spend a bunch of money on that.
Exactly. So AdWords budgets. I mean, if a client is spending $10,000 on AdWords, they're going to be able to get about half the results for a quarter of the budget.
Gotcha. All right. And so, what are some common mistakes you see people make on Amazon starting out?
So definitely the big one is using your Google feed. So you have to put work into the feed when you get started on Amazon, because that's the way that the Amazon robot will scan through your products and display them for the right terms. Another thing that I find that not a lot of people do is SKU level bidding. Inside the Amazon PPC interface, you're going to be greeted with category bids. So it'll say, how much do you want to bid for your pet products? If you're a pet store, you have a wide range of pet products, and applying one bid across all of these guys is probably not something that you want to do. This is where the feed comes into play. Amazon PPC does have SKU level bidding, but it takes place inside your feed. And this is very different from AdWords because the bidding takes place inside AdWords, not your feed. So on Amazon PPC, definitely take a look at your feed when you're getting started. There's going to be a column that Amazon will have for you, and I guess we can attach a sample Amazon feed to this podcast, where people can actually see the differences between a Google feed and an Amazon feed. And inside that Amazon feed, it's going to ask for a SKU level bidding. Getting strategic, your top converting products are going to have a higher conversion rate than than the middle of your range. So you'd want to start with your high converting products, and you want to give them an aggressive bid.
And I'm guessing image plays a lot into this too, right? Your product image and all that stuff. Like, is there any copy you have to write for these ads, or?
So these ads are going to operate a lot like a typical comparison shopping ad, where it's going to be displayed just like a listing. So while there's not any ad copy that you have to write, everything will go into the product description. So your title, your description, the keywords that you pick inside your Amazon feed, the category that you're telling Amazon that your products are in. So all of those things go into where will my products be selected for? Where will my products be shown for?
And I'm looking at our outline here. You also mentioned something using analytics to tag all the links. So what's the deal with this? How does this work at a very high level?
So Google Analytics does its best to try to figure out where your traffic is coming from automatically. But you can help Google Analytics out by doing something called UTM tagging your links. And we can include a link to how to UTM tag your links. And essentially, you're going to tell Google Analytics exactly where your traffic is coming from. So what you can actually do is tag all of your Amazon links that go inside your feed. You can tag them and tell Google Analytics that these are coming from Amazon PPC. Now, what a lot of business owners miss out on is that they'll just say that it's coming from Amazon. And unfortunately, Amazon PPC doesn't have as robust reporting as people are used to with AdWords. With AdWords, we can see, product level performance. We can see what kind of keywords were leading to conversions. We can really get specific with our reporting on AdWords. With Amazon PPC, it's not as robust. So we're going to want to tag all our links. So we're going to tell Google Analytics that all these clicks coming from Amazon PPC are actually coming from Amazon PPC. And you can also do things like add in the product title into your link. So when people click on over to Google Analytics, you can see that it's coming from Amazon PPC, and you can see what kind of products are getting clicked on a lot.
Nice. So it's super transparent on which ad is performing and which product is converting at the end sale on your own site.
Exactly. You kind of have to do some problem solving. So if you look at Google's, Google Analytics built-in UTM tagger, it'll say, what's the source, what's the campaign name, and it's also going to ask for, a keyword. What kind of keyword do you want to use? And you can actually program what kind of keyword you want to use. So for my clients, we actually insert the product title as a keyword. So when we look at our Google Analytics, and we can sort by traffic coming from Amazon PPC, and then we can sort that out by keyword. And then now we have this great list of, what kind of products are getting the most clicks, what kind of products are providing the most amount of revenue, all coming from Amazon PPC. And unfortunately, this data isn't built in inside Amazon PPC's platform natively. So we kind of have to use Google Analytics to get a lot of that information.
Nice. The keyword you could also use like your internal SKU number too to know exactly what it is too. Right? Map it out the same way as you would on a store, I guess.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, very cool. And so how long does this take to set up in terms of like the UTM tagging? Like say I have 20 products, is this like a whole day or like
So I hope people were paying attention in, typing class where they were learning about Excel. A lot of this can be done within Excel. So UTM tagging, you can do things like have your SKU in one column, have your URL in another column, and then combine them in a third column. So now your URL has the UTM tagging. So you have to get creative with Excel when you're creating these feeds, and if you can do that effectively, you're going to really dramatically speed up how long it takes to get into Amazon PPC.
All right, well, that's very cool. So, just to wrap things up, so for say someone who's thought about Amazon, maybe they're debating between Amazon AdWords or they have AdWords, like any last words they should know before they get started with Amazon today?
Exactly. So I think there's two kinds of people that should give Amazon a try. If you're already successful on AdWords, go for it. It's going to be if you're able to get on Amazon PPC, I say go for it because it's going to provide you a nice little bump in revenue every single month. If you're a new e-commerce store and you are debating between AdWords and Amazon, AdWords is probably going to be more expensive right out of the gate, and Amazon PPC might actually be a lower cost, entry into the world of PPC and getting traffic over to your site.
And would Amazon PPC be an easier way to rank in Amazon than listing there organically? Just kind of hypothetically.
To become an Amazon seller is definitely there's more hoops to jump through than Amazon PPC. With Amazon PPC, we set up our feed, we set our bids, and boom, we're on. With Amazon Seller, it does require additional setup.
If I can siphon the traffic via PPC to my own website and not pay the merchant fee like 15%, and I get the customer's email and all the shipping information, it's kind of like a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so I guess that's kind of up for debate. We'll see how Amazon changes this as we go on. But I guess, PPC Amazon at some point will get more expensive as more people find out about it. So
yeah, I'm a big fan of all things sort of PPC, and I'm always looking for new ways to, generate sales for e-commerce stores. So Amazon PPC was a really good fit for a lot of my current clients.
All right. So Michael, where can we find you online?
You can find me at searchscientists.com. And I've been so inspired by great podcasters, including yourself, Terry, that we're actually starting our own podcast. So if you're interested in learning and talking about all things PPC for online stores, you can check us out, searchscientists.com.
Awesome. And we'll give you a link, shout out to that too at the end of this episode. So, all right, Michael, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll keep in touch when this goes live.
Cheers, Terry.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Build My Online Store podcast. If you want the show notes, make sure to check out the website at buildmyonlinestore.com. And if you got an e-commerce store, every 2 weeks I lead a live mastermind call with about 5 or 6 other listeners in 2 separate groups where we work openly together and solve a business problem that you have. And we're all there to support each other. So if this sounds like your cup of tea, make sure to check us out at buildmyonlinestore.com/mastermind. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll catch up with you guys next week.